Started off with the Roots Amateur Boxing Club, and obviously they would move through the thing, as Chrysler took over, and then Peugeot. But by the time Peugeot took over, I was the secretary matchmaker of the club.
Right. Was that quite a big scene then back then?
Amateur boxing, well, yeah, because virtually every club in Coventry had a boxing section. Every working man's club in Coventry at one stage had a boxing section in Coventry.
And is that still the case, or is that kind of...
No. Well, you've lost most of the clubs for a start, anyway. But no, the only places that I know of that's still going is Standard, Belgreen, and I think Willenhall.
Right.
But all the others have gone. You get some rough diamonds off the streets, and they turned into very good boxers. Some of them.
Yeah.
Some of them went on to turn professional. They won schoolboy titles, junior titles, senior titles, all kinds of things. Coventry was well known for it at one time. Oh yeah, there was a lot. I mean, Coventry had a lot of very, very good boxers. A lot of very good boxers. We had the likes of Dan McAlinden. He died just a few weeks ago, poor old Dan. Peter Boddington. He was a European silver medalist. And various people like that. We had, you have to try to think of the names now. We had a terrific array, the likes of James Cook, in sort of later years. Very, very good lad from Tile Hill. And that was another excellent club that was run by the late Billy Duffin. Produced some great boxers, in very difficult conditions up there. He used to have his gymnasium was underneath the stage of the social club. Barely enough bloody headroom in it, but he turned out some great lads in there. Yeah. Well, I was always interested, right from a very early age. When I was in the army, we had a very, very good boxing team, our regiment, which was the Irish Guards. And I was nowhere near good enough for them, nowhere near, our guys were top class. But I was always interested, and mostly, like all young guys, when I left the army and everything, I was into the usual rigmarole, street fighting and drinking and God knows what else. And somebody just asked me one day, would I like to help out at the Roots Boxing Club, on the committee, just help them with the organisation. So I went on, and I must have weighed about 18.5 stone, I think, at the time. You could probably put 2-pint pots on my belly, So after a couple of months with them, I was enjoying it, and I thought, how can I go around looking like this, with these lads? I'm totally out of condition, and these guys are fit, and they're training all the time to fight, and there's me, giving them theories and telling them, what this should be like and what that should be like, and I'm totally out of shape. So I just began to train, and over the course of a year, I took off around about 4 stone. I was 31 then at the time, and the then secretary at the time said, "I've got a show coming up with you," and he said, "Would you fight on it?" I was a bit dubious at first, and my wife was extremely dubious. But I said, "Well, okay, we'll give it a go." And probably the worst thing that happened was I won the first fight. So that was it. We were hooked. Well, I had 9 fights in total. I won 6, lost 2. And people always say to me, "Well, that's only 8."
Yeah.
Well, the other one, my wife always insisted we never talk about it. It was a disgraceful situation. The guy I was hoping, we both got disqualified. I think the paper at the time likened it to some kind of a Pier 6 brawl, where rules went totally out of the window and bump. And it took me quite some time to live that down, because I sold a lot of tickets for that fight. And I thought I was a bit hard done by, actually, because I'd put the guy down in the first round, and I thought the referee could have stopped it. But he didn't. And of course it went on, and it got rougher and rougher, and yet I never got a warning. He just had enough and threw the 2 of us out, And like I said, I was 30. What was I at that time? I must have been close on 33, I suppose, when that fight was on. And then I was out until I was almost 35, when the secretary came to me again. He says, 6 weeks' time, he says, that guy you fought, he said, you were disqualified against, he says, he's back boxing for Leamington Boys Club. He says, would you fancy it? I said, well, how long have I got? He says, 6 weeks. I said, we'll give it a go. So I gave up drinking, done everything right, trained, and my wife said, this is the last one, that's it. Win, lose, doesn't matter. And as it happened, I won, although I've been nearly knocked out in the last round. But yeah, I won it, and that was it. My wife said, no more. So I just took over the running of the place there after that, Well, there wasn't really a grudge. I mean, the guy, actually, he's quite well known now. I don't know if you ever followed wrestling at any stage. No. He was known as, he started off as Tony Golden Boy Walsh. Later became, because he had to change his image, then became known as Headbanger. And he used to do the tag wrestling with Big Daddy and Giant Haystacks and all them guys. He's from Leamington. And he's a vice president of Coventry City. I mean, he was supposed to be a bit of a clown and all this kind of thing, but the guy became a millionaire. He ran a big doorkeeping agency in Coventry. I think Mayfair Securities, I think they were called. He supplied doormen for all various functions. And he himself, his name actually is Jimmy Sheehan, but he was always known as Tony Walsh, Banger Walsh. He became minder to Chubby Brown.
Roy Chubby Brown.
Yeah. He was minder for him for several years. He's not very well these days, so apparently he's got a bit of dementia or something like that. Yeah, well, Banger, he was the guy that was instrumental in getting it taken off. He got it stopped, because I mean everyone virtually knew it was a fix and a farce, but especially the old ears, they loved it. They couldn't get enough of it. Like my mother, for example, she would not hear of it being fixed. She used to get onto it. She used to argue violently with me at times. But his sister was killed, unfortunately, in a road accident, and Tony felt that the wrestling fraternity had let him down. There was only one person turned up at his sister's funeral. One wrestler turned up, so he just fell out with him, and he blew the gaff on the whole thing, blew it wide open, and of course it was taken off television then. And of course, yeah. I mean, Stevie Wonder could have seen that it was a fix, because you could predict what was going to happen next, But it was just entertainment, really.
Yeah,
but some people insisted on taking it seriously. Yeah, but they're all body beautiful now, aren't they? I mean, years ago in British wrestling, I mean, some of the guys were so totally out of shape. It was ridiculous. But oh yeah, good. They had to train. They had to know how to fall and how to absorb blows and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, but it was just entertainment, really. But some people didn't see it that way.